Hey guys, it's Andy from Teensy Roamer, and I just got off my DoorDash runs for the day. Wow, it was a busy day. So I had this one delivery where the GPS had me at the end of the apartment complex when I was supposed to be at the beginning, and I guess they were watching me move through the complex, and they called me, and they're like, "Well, DoorDash app says you marked the delivery as delivered, and it's not." And I was like, "No, I didn't. I'm trying to find your apartment. I made it to their GPS dot, and apparently this is building 22, but I can tell by your unit number it's probably building 4, right?" And she's like, "Yeah." We'll get back to the DoorDash story. Let me go ahead and put the rotini in the pot while the water is boiling. So I pre-portioned my rotini. I bought one box for like $2, but then I made 3 portions out of it in a bag, right? Chickpea rotini, so it has some protein. Add some salt. It was a really cool dash. I'll get to what made it really cool in a minute. But yeah, okay. So let me make sure that's. Let me get it set up for it though. I'm getting my spoon, and I'm gonna need my here. My strainer. I haven't used it yet. The weather has been too hot in Texas um, to make pasta in a bowl like that for as long as it's needed. What's this going to take, like 10, 15 minutes of boiling? That would be unbearable. It's finally down to where I can make pasta now. I think today it was probably 85 um, with not much sun, so I had to run the inverter all day to charge my batteries. Yeah, so going back to the Dash, right? So apparently, Dash's GPS messed up and they panicked. They called me on the phone and I explained to them, well, the GPS pin is wrong, but I'm on my way through the complex to find building 4. And they had explained to me where that building was over the phone. And we kind of like just stayed talking with each other until I pulled up. And then they were saying, "Oh, yeah, no, I see you. I see you." And I was like, "Oh, cool. So I'll be right out." And so I bring their order and this juice box. I guess that was going to be my tip, right? And I was like, "Oh, no way, a juice box." I thought that was really cool. I got let's see here. So I don't normally drink juice, right? But they got me a juice box, and I was just like, "Oh, that is so like novel, like to be able to give your delivery driver, um, uh, I don't know, like I could say even candy or a juice box. That's pretty cool. I mean, assuming maybe with juice boxes it's sealed, right? So you can assume that it's not been tampered with. That's something you can't tamper with. If you squeeze the juice box pretty hard and no juice goes squirting out, you're guaranteed no one's slipped a Mickey in that juice box. So we're going to be drinking it tonight for dinner. So I tossed it in the cooler and I drove off, right? This is one of those dashes where I want to say like $5 for like a 2 mile dash. So I had already, accepted the offer as is. So I think it was like 5 and change, maybe even as much as 7. I don't quite remember that. I'm driving down the road, and I do have the thought to check for like tampering because I knew I wanted to drink it, but I hadn't checked it. So or I had like 15 minutes between the end of one dash and the start of the next. So I'm sitting here. I think I had a cheese sandwich, and I grabbed the juice box, and it was still warm, but I noticed there's something on the juice box, right? And so I'm wondering what that could be. And I was just like, what? Why is there like some sort of like bag on my juice box? And so I turned the juice box around to see what it was that I was feeling. And lo and behold, on the juice box, a bag was taped to it. And inside the bag was a tip, a cash tip. And I was like, it was only a couple dollars, but it made like the excitement of it like I don't know, like it's worth more. It's worth the excitement of it and the surprise of it, and then it was just also nice and thoughtful, and it's probably the best tip I ever got. And I was just so like happy that they did that, and it made my day. And I wanted to share with you guys that there are nice people out there. And yeah, DoorDash for the most part is it can be a struggle to make it profitable and get yourself in a position where you find yourself accepting most of the orders. Uh, so the only advice I would have for that would be just DoorDash. And when you notice that the order values are going too far low to where you're not going to make any money, then just end the dash. I don't know that I would recommend declining offers left and right. Like I did that. I literally went from 100% acceptance rate, to 74%. And I was doing an experiment to see what would happen. Um, yeah, so I would say that I have more success with Dash by ending the Dash, starting up somewhere else where there might be more expensive orders. I think that's probably a better strategy, and I'm going to use that going forward than to decline orders that are low, like really low. Um, when I do the hourly dashes, they don't pay like you would think. It's not if you get an hourly rate, they do weird things behind the scenes, like a similar story to this one order, to this other order that we were talking about. I mean, the a client uh, called me on my phone and said, "Hey, Dash says you delivered the order, but I see you're still in the neighborhood. I see you're still in the community." And I was like, "Yeah, the GPS pin again. The pin was wrong. And I'm on my way. I already know where your building is. Just give me a minute." But we still stayed on the phone and chatted. And the interesting thing is that was an hourly dash sesh. And I think the minute you enter the building area, like the clubhouse, they turn it off. They turn the timer off on you, and they on their side they say he got close enough. Let's mark this one delivered. They don't give you the time it takes to get from the actual address to the apartment unit number's door and complete the order. And I think that in a city like Austin, that's atrocious. That could take as long as 15 minutes, by the way. 15 minutes sometimes in the dark with no building numbers. You're not familiar with the building or the neighborhood. That could take as much as 15 minutes, and it has for me. And I know it has for others. So those are hours that they're not paying for. Those are like, what would that be? Like $4 if it was a $12. 4, 8, 12. It'll be like, oh, I don't know. It's too late at night. I don't want to do the math, but it'd be 13 divided by 4 would be, or 12, somewhere 12.50. $13 divided by 4. Yeah, but it's not nothing, right? Like 3, 6, 9, 12. So it's $3 off of that one delivery that you didn't get, right? Because they did that. And I don't think any of us are looking at that. And you have to be very cautious to see that. You have to go out and see how it was. You see, once you go on to the next dash, I don't think you have the stats on the order as in depth as you did, as when you were looking at the order right then and there when it was in front of you before you go on to the next order. Um, it's one of those things where I know that I'm missing money. I know that they're doing something with the timers that I'm not, if I'm wandering around, especially due to their error, right? When they have those GPS pins way off, it's almost like maniacal sometimes, it seems, um, that those pins are just so far off in a 40 unit multi-dwelling unit complex, that you would have a pin on the opposite side of the complex. It says go left when you should have gone right. Yeah. So there's tons of stories like that, right? That kind of like wear you down, but then you get that juice box with like a cash tip in it. That's like a really cool thing. Like you don't see Cash doing DoorDash at all. Uh, I wouldn't accept cash orders at all. Um, it's not smart. Like in the era where you have everything's digital, I like doing things by way of digital. I don't think I would recommend anyone, especially female dashers, carrying cash. It's probably not a good idea. Yeah, that would make me very nervous. So, I don't know. I had a good evening. I had a good day. I started at like 2:30. I was only going to do a couple hours and then I just went straight on through. I probably did over 100 miles in dashing today. Yeah, it's a lot. 100, I think 111 miles I did today. I have some red sauce I want to start in with, but do I want to start in with it? Like, how do you handle red sauce? Maybe what I'll do is I'll put the red sauce in this pan once I drain it and then heat the red sauce up. Uh, but what I also should do is maybe get a couple of these Ziploc bags and do some red sauce uh, in the fridge, right? So I'll break it into fours, like fours. 1, 2, 3, 4. I wonder if that would work. I think a lot of red sauce. I don't need that much. Let's see how the noodles are coming. Or rotini. Mmm. Oh, you can take the chickpeas. I have pesto too, but I do want to start in on the red sauce. Wish me luck. I've never done this before. Basically just fourths, right? Something like that. See, what is that? Like a quarter of a bag? I'll let the air out. But this will stay in the fridge. Okay, so it looks like I can divvy it up by threes. Just looking at my eye. So I got 2 out of it. That's it. Okay, it's not leaking. Go ahead and let some of the air out. Here we go. I'm going to put those in the fridge and I'll use the rest for tonight. Yeah, I think it's good enough for now. Let's see here. Let's turn it down. And then in there. And then that in there. A little bit of water. Perfect. See? So I can do spaghetti, and then I can do like sloppy Joe with some chopped meat down the road. All right, let's heat this up. Oh, and you know what else I'm going to add in here? Let's see here. So I've got red sauce, right? So I am going to put in here a little bit of a little bit of garlic powder. Okay. And then I want I'm gonna go with oregano today. Some oregano. There's bits of it. Yeah, I had a really cool day. You know, it was one of those things where you're a little bit down on you know, the lack of efficiency with the way that the operation works. At least on our part. On their part, it's very efficient, right? When you cut an order, every order off across the board 15 minutes before it was done, you know, that works in your favor, DoorDash, but not ours. I mean, you just stole $3 from each driver across the board. How often are you doing that? I don't know. I don't know, but it is, you know, when you say you were going to pay per hour, then especially during a delivery, like a literal delivery, I mean, yeah, that's bad. That's real bad. Oh, and then I had another order where it was a really high paying order, and the it was a mom and pop pizza joint, right? Where the locals go around here. Just one mom and pop joint. I'm not gonna name it. But the thing is the hostess gave me a dirty look, like, oh, DoorDash, yeah, we'll get to that. And she kind of just, you know, didn't even respond. And I was like, well, wait a minute. So I let her handle the other customers, and when everyone left, I went back up and I said, can you please confirm this order was, you know, being processed, and when can I expect it? And she rolls her eyes again and be like, oh, we'll get to it, and it should be about 10 minutes. So I said, I gotta, you know, they acknowledged that it might be there. They didn't actually acknowledge that that order was there. They just kind of just, it was a vague thing, maybe 5-10 minutes, maybe. And it wasn't affirmative, right? So it didn't sit well with me, but I suffered for 10 minutes and I sat there. It was supposed to be, let's say, 7 o'clock. It's now 7:10. It's supposed to be ready at 7. It's now 7:10. I go up there again. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. I guess one of them's in the oven and the other one will be out in 10 minutes. So what happens is their restaurants get busy and then they use up the delivery driver's pizzas. I know that's what they did. And I know that that restaurant needed that pizza. But so did I, right? I know. Again, it goes to the whole disrespect of the delivery driver. Like, I can afford that time of sitting in her store, not doing anything, right? So, you know, there was a manager there, and when the hostess left, I went up to the manager and I said, you know, can you help me with this? I've been waiting for 20 minutes now, right? This order is severely late, significantly late. You know, they must have placed it at 6:30, right? If I was there by 7 to pick it up. So it's now 7:30 and I don't have a pizza. And they're like, oh, well, you know what? Let me really go back there and see what's going on. And so he's back there and they're talking, and the manager is like, where is this order? Like, point to me where it is. And so he comes back and he says, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And I said, 5 or 10 minutes, huh? I said, I've been told that 3 times. And I said, you know what? I'm going to pass on. I will no longer deliver for this store. And that was pretty much the end of it. And so he basically got the heat applied, right, somewhere, somehow. He understood what that meant. And 3 minutes later, he brings out 2 pizzas. Hopefully, they were the pizzas that they ordered. One was supposed to. I'm not gonna. I don't even think I'm allowed to, you know, crack open a box and make sure that the right contents are in those pizza boxes. I don't think that would be appropriate. Um, but yeah, that's like a horror story when you're in a situation where you have there's just something in their minds where they think, oh, well, the customer's not here. And it's just like, no, I'm the customer. I'm the agent of the customer. That I'm a proxy. Like, I'm by proxy for this person. And I go at it with these hostesses sometimes. Um, because I do see myself not almost not even a DoorDash kind of rep, but more like an individual contractor who's proxying for the customer. And it's just like you don't do that. You don't promise someone an order at 7 and it'd be 7:30 and I'm walking out the door and they think that it's okay. You know, uh, the store was busy. I'll say that the store was busy, but if the store was busy, you should have put on there. Maybe we'll be able to get to this in 45 minutes. So I'm not waiting in half an hour. I'm only waiting 15 minutes, or I'm only waiting 5 minutes. So, but again, it was that whole thing where the hostess was processing those DoorDash orders and handing them to the kitchen, and didn't even hand the order to the kitchen till I got there. That was bad. Stuff like that. It's kind of like, come on, people, respect. That's very disrespectful to roll your eyes at a DoorDash order. Um, you don't do that. That's not normal. I finally got my red sauce, which is what I really wanted. Hankering for it. There you go, steaming rotini, pig cheese rotini with traditional red sauce. All right, let me say a quick race, and then you come here. Oh, there we go. That'll do. If Ginsu can do it, I can do it. All right. Be cold enough by now. Oh yeah, look at that. Pre-sun. Oh, juicy. Probably could have tried the pesto. But that was a tip. A DoorDash tip. Mm-mm. That one's the water, and then that one's the Fabuloso. This guy cleaned up too. I wonder when we're gonna get rain. Like we've had overcast skies, but not much rain. Like my solar panels are totally covered in dust. Yeah, so I had a good night last night. Slept at a Walmart parking lot and then got up and went to a gas station. Oh yeah. Oh, the joys of van life. But let's get started on the pour. This let's see here. This cheapo pour cone, right? I don't know. I want to say it's like it's $11, and you could pretty much see right through it. So I think that might actually be the problem. There's no solid surfaces to slow down the volume of water as it trickles down there. So that kind of could be what's wrong with the design. So yeah, I think I'm gonna either I'll so the variable I'll switch up is the pour time. So I'm gonna slow down on the pour. Yeah, I would say like I really think that the issue is the number of holes in that cone. Wow. So the water's done boiling before I had a chance to finish the grind. That is very fast. Go ahead and turn that off. And that as well. Alright, so here we go. Pour those grinds in there. Okay, so let me move that out of the way. I'm gonna just let the grinds bloom this time as well. So we'll just sit here. But yeah, they do sell like pots where uh you can do pours better, so it has more of a spout, a long spout, so you can get that laminar flow. I mean, that looks pretty good, but it's like all of the water is already out of it. It didn't take any time at all to drain. And I think that's really what the problem is. Oh, so that time it slowed down a bit. And maybe it was the fact that it needed to bloom, right? Because I didn't bloom it yesterday. I just poured it. So this time, like I said, we waited a little bit. And yeah, it's slowing down the pour process. It's starting to steep a little bit. Yeah. So this might be a better cup of coffee, hopefully. Like I said, this thing's a cinch to clean, which is what I'm after. This thing used probably, I want to say it probably used 1.5 gallons of water cleaning up every day. Yeah. Oh, it smells so good though. Oh, I was waiting for this moment last night. I was like, I can't wait for morning. Yeah, see, it's starting to steep now, so that's cool. It probably was. It probably you just need to bloom it to make sure those fine grains swell and kind of clog part of the filter, and then the rest just drains down. Yeah, it's pretty much just the water's just sitting there now. That's awesome. That didn't happen yesterday. How do I know when the cup is full? Definitely not. Nice. Oh, it has a little handle. That smells so good. I can't wait. Basically, I'm, like I said, trying to build up a little bit of the water here, but not too much. I'm gonna turn it and see it from a different angle. See, now it's reached the top of the grind. So I don't want to go like last time. I kept filling it thinking it was designed in a certain way that would basically absorb all the flavor out of the beans, the grinds. Um, and that's not what happened, right? So basically just replaying what I did yesterday and comparing it to what I did today and trying to improve the pour. That's it. It smells so good. Oh, let's go. All right, and that's all the water I have for this. Beautiful morning. Finally, a break in the 100-degree weather. It's so nice. All right, so basically all that is almost like a solid mud kind of thing, which I'll just set over there. Okay, so we have probably like 30% more flavor than yesterday. So the pour time does add to the flavor. The more time it takes to pour your water over the grinds, the more flavor goes in there. My coffee's pretty much done, and I'm hungry. So let's get to breakfast. my cereal's not where I left it. That it wasn't a speed bump, but it was like a so in in Texas the land has got a lot of calcium carbonate and it has a lot of oh wow, I'm out of cereal. It has a lot of calcium carbonate and a lot of clay on the surface, right? So what that means is when we get a little bit of acid rain, the land underneath our roads disappears. And the the land is riddled with sinkholes. So it's not as bad as Florida, that's for sure. And the size of the sinkholes are nowhere near. But when you drive down a road that they didn't put enough gravel down, it goes like this. And there is a subdivision that had a huge sinkhole that you can't see for some reason. And wow, it launched it launched Romer's booty in the air like I want to say 2 feet. It was like a cartoon. Oh, it was comedic, that's for sure. I want to see a quick race. Faith is a gift, and when you encounter God, right, you you really want to try to not be afraid, because that fear, he doesn't like it when we're afraid. He likes that sort of daddy um child thing, that childlike thing, and a child's normally not afraid unless they've done something wrong, which then fear is good, right? Um, but he doesn't like it when we're afraid. So if you ever do like pray for faith, just be prepared to squelch your fear, and then remember, right? Because a lot of people be like, I don't know what I saw. Must have been like some hallucination. Mm. Yeah, but that whole giving thing, I'm rebuilding my life, and I want to include giving in there, and I want to include the traditional 10%. I really do. I think it's probably more like, is it selfish for me that I want it for myself for the increase in the prosperity? I don't know. All I know is there's definitely increase in the money there's definitely increase in the value of my day, like the reward I'm getting, the people, mm, and my heart too. Like, I don't know how to say it, but um, it's kind of like your faith or your relationship with just getting hooked into that sort of thing. No matter what chore or job you're doing, God makes it to where it's the work is rewarding. Um, and I think the Germans also like work sets you free. God does that, right? I do believe that. Like in the work, that's kind of like I don't know how to say it. Like it's kind of like, oh, cool. We got another, delivery. We got another this. We got another that. No matter what it was, another project at work. He makes it rewarding in that way. Because if you're just sitting there idle, it's not good for you, and it's not good for anybody really. All right, let's see if we can clean up that pour. Okay, so basically, all I'm gonna do is kind of like use the coffee cup with a. Yep, there we go. I got a coffee cup in the sink, and I got a paper towel to catch all the mud, right? Because it looks just like mud. Yeah, the cleanup is much better. So no matter what, I'm just going to keep going at perfecting the use of this cone. And maybe what I'll do is I'll leave a review for it. Um, and then start looking for one that has better reviews because I think it's worth it. I really do think that it's going to be better off for me as far as like water consumption and paper towel consumption because I probably use like 8 paper towel pieces to do one coffee. And now see that's clean water coming out of the see how clean that is, that water? So it's pretty much captured every single grind, which was unheard of. Like I couldn't do that. Like some of the grinds were always making it down into my bin, but not on the street because there's like it's not direct the hole at the tank, it's not at the bottom. It's elevated off. So gravity would pull the grinds down to the bottom and only the water would make it out. But that does mean at some point I'm gonna have to open that up and see what's all in there. I'll make a video on that, is what we'll do. And I'll just do this. And I'm done. Like that was it. Wow, that is a lot less water than what I'm used to. So that probably did it. So now my water consumption is not going to be so high, which is good. All right, guys. So we probably rambled way too much. And I'm really wanting to get to this next video, but the weather hasn't broken at all. So essentially, we're waiting for the weather to break to make a really cool video. It's been too windy, too cold, rainy. I'm waiting for a sunny day, and hopefully the weather will break and I'll be able to get that done soon. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If possible, give the video a like. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I hope to see you soon. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.